Good morning. Welcome to Center for Spiritual Living Los Angeles. I'm so happy to be with you. I'm Amy Steinberg, and I'm just going to open us with a little song. And I hope that you'll feel the love coming through me and that you'll sing along once you catch the melody. Let love live through this music. I send it out to you. Love, sweet love, surrounds me now. Love, sweet love, surrounds me now. Love, sweet love, comes through. Love, sweet love, surrounds me now. Love is the only truth. Love is the only truth. Love, sweet love, surrounds me now. Love, sweet love, surrounds me now. Comes through. Love, sweet love, comes through. Surrounds me. Love, sweet love, surrounds me now. Love is the only truth. 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 One more time. Love, sweet love. Love, sweet love, surrounds me now. Feel it. Love, sweet love, comes through. Surrounds me. Love, sweet love, surrounds me now. Love is the only truth. Love is the only truth. Love is the only truth. Now love is the only truth. Love is the only truth.
Ms. Reverend Amy Steinberg. Happy Sunday.
Happy Sunday.
What a peaceful and loving and enveloping way to start our service with that chant. You wrote that chant, I believe.
Yes.
And so when you sing those lyrics, love is the only truth, what does that mean to you?
It means that back of all, there is a
Mhm.
givingness that is eternal and that is always available to tap into, to be held by, to be conscious of, and to practice.
Fantastic.
Which, I'm so
Fantastic.
happy to always be practicing with you. And I love that I get to play with you and love
Right.
at the same time.
Right back at you. As you were singing it, I was thinking of the myriad of ways that love exists beyond the human emotional way. And the great Dr. David Hawkins refers to love as a state of mind. It's a state of
Mm.
awareness, right? It's being tuned into that which in traditional Christianity terms is the Christ.
Christianity.
Christianity. I saw her perform once under a mirror ball, Christianity, and
That's
it's
a
very kind
great
of
name.
very Priscilla, Queen of the Desert. But what he's speaking of is an awareness of the Christ consciousness that exists
Mm.
within, right? So, um, Ernest Holmes refers to love as the self-givingness of spirit whose desire is to create more of itself out of itself, and it can only do that through you and through me. So, as individuals, meaning not just you and me personally. So it's inclusive of, but also transcendent of the emotion, right? So,
Well, and it also feels to me like it's the word closest. It's the one that's closest for me to capture source, to
Mhm.
capture the idea of what is source. What is this that we speak of, this energy that is back of all things, that is everything, right? That is step one in treatment that we always talk
Mhm.
about, this God thing.
Right.
Love just feels the closest to me, if there's
Good.
a
Well,
word.
good.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for creating the chant. Thank you for sharing it with us. And thank you for exuding and expressing love.
I love you.
Love you too. All right, we'll see you in just a bit. That's Amy Steinberg, everyone, joining us from Asheville, North Carolina. I'm Reverend Dr. Keith Cox, and welcome to our Sunday morning celebration service. If you're joining us live, it's the 24th of August. I just realized when I said that, that was my maternal grandmother, Jewel's, earthly birthday. So, Jewel, wherever you are, happy earthly birthday. Anyway, we come to you as the Center for Spiritual Living Los Angeles in our live Sunday morning celebration service. And if you're joining us through Zoom and or YouTube, I honor you and acknowledge you for where you are and who you are as love in this very moment. Excuse me. We come together to celebrate that within you. And even if you're joining, I shouldn't say even, but if you are joining us at a later date and not live, know that these truths that are affirmed and spoken about both by me and through and as Amy Steinberg and her music and the message that is shared with you today is to awaken that within you so that in a way, whether you're aware of it or not, you remember that you are the essence and the presence of love itself. And so I welcome you, I celebrate you, and I honor you. And so I'm going to put on the screen our opening and welcoming slides as we move into our time together. And know that as a community, our vision statement is supporting individuals finding their personal self-empowerment through a spiritual awakening. I affirm that for you today, whatever day it is, wherever you may be. As a community, we've come together for 35 plus years now, and we come together and welcome all races, religions, countries of origin, sexual orientations, genders, abilities. For as a community, we stand with you, and we want you to know just as you are safe here. What does that mean? It means that we honor you just as you are, knowing that as you meaning the individualization of spirit itself that has placed its stamp of individuality upon itself as you and called it you, that just as you are in the totality of the expression of the divine that you are right now, and wherever you are on your journey of finding personal self-empowerment through a spiritual awakening, we welcome you. And so we use these words as we affirm them together. We welcome one and we welcome all. There are various different spiritual communities out there I know right now that are having difficult times because of allowing differences to come into their present awareness and causing conflict in the community. As much as that's probably a healing moment for them, I want to affirm for us that not that was ever happening for us. I don't know why this came up for me, but for me to just affirm for all of us that we do indeed hear these words and welcome one and welcome all, and appreciate our awareness of spirit and the way that we get to express it today in every way. Once again, we're all on the journey of finding personal self-empowerment through a spiritual awakening. Today, I affirm for each one of us that we invite in to our field of awareness, not only the awakening part, but the awareness of the journey of life itself and open to being more personally self-empowered, meaning that we're more tuned into the use of our mind in a way that is productive and effective and enveloping of the nature of the divine by which we individualize. The qualities of this power include peace and power and beauty and joy and light and life and wisdom. And just as Amy was singing of course, love, the self-givingness of spirit. So we move into our morning ritual now. Hopefully you can hear the music coming on in the background, the piano music of the one and only Donna Michael. Now, our ritual is called Calling in the Light. And each Sunday morning and times we're together, we do this ritual so that we may awaken more to the oneness of life and those qualities that we possess and invite in a greater awareness of all sentient beings, of the oneness of life itself, continuing with the theme of welcoming one and welcoming all. We move into this ritual, calling it lighting the flames of faith. And so as we light a virtual candle today, as you saw on the previous screen, we do so for the Tao, honoring the universal path of harmony and equilibrium, that which is known as the natural way. And we light this metaphorical candle for the shamanic traditions, honoring the beliefs and practices of all indigenous peoples, the way of primal spirituality. And we light it for Hinduism, honoring the path of knowledge, action, and devotion. And for Judaism, honoring the ethical path of living by sacred law. And for all forms of Buddhism, honoring the Four Noble Truths and the path of compassion. And for all forms of Christianity, honoring the Christ consciousness as the path of love. Feel the need to repeat that. All forms of Christianity, honoring the Christ consciousness as the path of love. And all forms of Islam, honoring the path of submission to the will of God as the highest calling. And for the universalistic religion of Baha'i, honoring the path of unity and of peace. And for all forms of New Thought, what we practice here at the Center for Spiritual Living Los Angeles. And in so doing, we light this candle for that, honoring the metaphysical path of mental healing through the practice of universal spiritual principles. Take all that energy together and bring it into the focus on one light and declare this the healing candle. I invite you to take a moment and think of someone that you would like to silently or audibly put into the light of the healing flame. Which may encourage it to include yourself. And I feel compelled to put into the light our congregants, George and Susan Goodman, as George is going through some serious challenges in his life. And as we put these names in, may we all do so knowing that we experience as a result of this affirmation the eternal and everlasting love of the divine. Last week I affirmed this protection prayer that you see on your screen, and I wanted to include it again today for us to just hearken back, if we were online last week or have heard it before, to where we might be in this moment and make a conscious decision to have these words further multiply the energy of the light of the divine for each and every one of us. I'm going to speak it in what is assumed or defined as the first person. I invite you to hear these words for yourself. The light of God surrounds me as the love of God enfolds me. The power of God protects me as the presence of God watches over me. The mind of God guides me and the life of God flows through me. As the laws of God direct me, the power of God abides within me. The joy of God uplifts me. The strength of God renews me and the beauty of God inspires me. Wherever I am, God is. Putting on the screens the affirmation part of the song we sing so often, Calling in the Light. I want you to be able to reference those as Amy comes on and sings us the song, the chant, I am holy light. And as she sings this, may we all know that to be true and affirm the lyrics, the call and response song of Calling in the Light that are on the screen. Amy?
peace. I am love and peace. I am love and peace. I am love and peace. I'm one with God. I am one with God. I am holy light. I am holy light. I am holy light. I am holy light. I'm one with God. I am 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 one with God.
So fabulous.
Thank you.
You know, the statement, I am one with God, and then the prayer for protection that I shared. The theme today's, I can sense, is I'll speak for myself because today I'm really in a moment really about looking inward. And so I believe that my looking inward today and serving what serves my soul is also serving all of our souls, right? But I'm really tuning into my relationship with the word God and the power God, right? And just opening up to it being so different and connecting to the journey of that awakening and those awakenings, and really just being open to that, really trying not to predict it or predicate it or judge it as it's happening, right? Just, or judging if I feel like I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing, right? Just being tuned in to feeling it more, the presence of it, allowing it, and having moments where it's like, ooh, that's different, or like, wow, that's incredible, or like, yeah, kind of figured it was going to work that way. So, like all of that, it's all part of it.
Yes.
So,
The relationship with God, and what does that mean
yes.
to you? And how do you feel about that word today? And some days it really resonates with me, and some days I feel very distant from that word and from even the idea. But
Yeah.
I love that this teaching is a practice,
Yeah.
that it's, and that's why we come here repeatedly Sundays, and hear talks and practice it,
Well, I
keep
think
in
I
spiritual
shared the
shape.
stupid joke with you last time you were here, but I know you're tuning into your canine today, and I've been in a real
Yes.
canine state of mind. And I was telling you about the book I'm reading right now. It's all about the canine. Um, but I'm sure, do you know what the dyslexic said to the agnostic? Why, yes, there is a dog, right? Like, so I just,
And there is, and honestly, that is where I see God probably the most, is in that
that's why you got to read
unconditional
this book, Lily and the
dog
Octopus,
love.
because there are parts of it
Yeah,
that is expressed through the dog, right? So, and it's just so
I'll
fabulous
definitely
to
read it.
just, oh, it's just so, I mean, there's some dark parts to it too, but it's just so fabulous because it's the relationship between the human and the canine, in this particular human and canine. But what it does for me, because it is presented in that way, and it's a different angle and a different viewpoint, then it allows me to see the connected energy that we share in a way differently. So, like all,
Well, I remember the first time I read, it was before I found New Thought, actually, a little bit about this idea of the Hebrew idea of God, that God
Mhm.
was sort of allness, and then it shattered itself to know itself because it couldn't see itself, right? So being connected, whether it's with a canine, with each other and community, whatever it is, to this idea of prayer, to this idea of this energy, connecting, that's what God wants to do. That's God's desire, greatest desire. I think that resonates with me. That's always
Yeah.
made sense to me, so that's where it's in the connection, with each other and with animals, where I can really feel God, which is aliveness for me. That's really another word that Troward kind of really gifted me with, the whole life, the creative process of being alive and feeling alive. And that's God to me. When I feel alive, I'm aligned. Even if I'm sobbing over the loss of my baby, I'm seeing the picture of Sadie behind you. the loss of a baby. I felt so alive in grieving her. And that's God to me, is that
Yeah.
love that causes that.
Well, that's the
That's
spiritual awakening part when you know that that's the God in you, right?
yeah.
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 Cool.
That's the awakening.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. I'll go
All right.
away
What
now
song
because
do
I
you
think
have
you're
for
going to
us
give a
now?
talk. Oh, let me do a song for you. Now, have I played you much from Ministar yet? My new one woman
No,
show. Have I
this is
told you
the show
anything
that you're
about
bringing
it?
to Los Angeles. Yeah.
I don't know if I'm bringing it to LA, but I'm definitely bringing it to San Diego and Kansas City coming up. And anyway, it's this show about this dollhouse that I created, which is the home of our soul. And I don't know if I did anything from it for you yet,
No,
but
well, are you going to do something now?
I was
Good.
thinking of doing, yeah, this song. It's called The Room of Possibility. And it's this idea
Perfect.
that when you enter the dollhouse of your mind, which is your soul, which is, your consciousness, you always enter into first through the room of possibility. Imagine yourself standing in the middle of a room where the walls are made of wonder and your heart is like a tiny bloom. You feel that you are everything, but still you want more, as if time is whispering. This is what you're here for. You are here to create, to make something new. You are here to embody God as you. So, what are you longing for? What is calling to be? Listen for the answers in the room of possibility. Yeah, listen for the answers in the room of possibility. Yeah, anything is possible. That's your part. It goes, anything is possible. You got it? Anything is possible. And only you can know what it is that you've got. And you can try to let it rot, but your soul is too smart. It remembers who you are. You are God. You are here to create, to make something new. You are here to embody God as you. So, what are you longing for? What is calling you to be? What's calling you, baby? Listen for the answers in the room of possibility. Yeah, come on. Listen for the answers in the room of possibility. Anything is possible. You know this part. Anything is possible. Sing it with me. Come on. Anything is possible. Deep joy. Anything is possible. Profound love. Anything is possible. Riches beyond your imagination, inside and out. Oh, you're here to connect, to fall in love. You are here to embody God as you. So, what are you longing for? What's calling you? What's calling you to be? What's calling you, baby? Listen for the answers in the room of possibility. Yeah, come on. Listen for the answers in the room of possibility. Anything is possible. Anything is by infinite possibility. Infinite possibility. Yeah, oh, yeah. Anything is possible. There you go.
And there you go. Anything is possible. Possible. Possible.
Possible.
Thank you. So, as I stated earlier, everyone, I feel like I've been looking at life, probably we all do, but certainly in preparation for today through the lens of my own interpretation, if you will, of life itself and where I am and knowing on some level that's all of us, and the journey of finding personal self-empowerment through a spiritual awakening. So our message today that I'm going to share is one that I had created and shared last year in August, 804 08 04 24, and filtering it through our theme for this month, which is Vitality is Happening Through Me. It's, if you were here in August of last year and heard this, I invite you to ask yourself how this theme, Vitality is Happening Through Me, has manifested itself, expressed itself, made itself known to you in the last year, where you are on your journey of finding personal self-empowerment through a spiritual awakening, and open up to receive today a reminder, if you will. That's what this message really is about, is a reminder of the foundational components of our teaching, just as Amy was singing about a moment ago, of the realm of possibility, and that love is all there is. And it really is about opening our mind to a new perspective, and then using ourself and our relationship to the power and as the power in new ways. Our theme when we used the slideshow last month was Ain't Got No Summertime Blues. And as I was reading through that in preparation for today, I thought to myself, is what's prompting my deep sense of self-reflection and self-awareness, is it summertime blues? And the answer is no, not really, but I do understand having those summertime blues. I do understand how easy it is to be there, and I do understand there have been times in my life where I have been into that state of blues, as I know that's true for all of us, and that is because we're mental beings navigating life through the act of participating in contemplation, because we are mind that has the ability to access our mind and use it. And sometimes that's in a way that is life affirming, and sometimes it feels like it's not. What is it that we're here to remember? The great Ernest Holmes, the revealer of the teaching of the science of mind, addressed this in this manner. When one realizes that everything is mind, and that nothing moves but mind, and that the only instrument of mind is thought, which is contemplation in some form or other, they will see that nothing can permanently heal unless it's been accompanied by right thinking. What is right thinking? It is that which is reflective of our innate nature, which includes the qualities of peace and power and beauty and joy and light and life and love and wisdom. But it's that which is reflective of an acceptance of an awareness that's evolving, that we are individualizations of that which is. I am love. I am peace. I am light. I am an individualization of the only thing there is. Love is the answer. Holmes refers to that as healing thinking, if you will. It's thinking that is inclusive of, or consisting of, or focused on our divine nature. Healing's revealing wholeness. He really likes to address it. So if we are in a state of the blues, what would be the opposite of that? That is so often the way that I think it's healthy to look at. If we're feeling darkness, what are thoughts of light? If we're feeling sadness, not to feel them, but what are feelings of joy, right? If we're feeling, you get the picture. Well, here's how this is addressed. What is the opposite of feeling the blues? One such example is feeling blue, meaning feeling depressed in spirits, dejected, or melancholy. Once again, nothing wrong with these feelings. It's what do we do with these feelings? This goes on to tell us the opposite of this meaning of blue is rose or rosy, cheerful or optimistic. We can see this sense of the meaning of rose in the expression of rose-colored glasses, meaning a cheerful or optimistic view of things. The whole purpose of this slide is to remind us that if we are seeing things in a light, or that we may be having experiences in life that seem to feel that of dejection or melancholy or depressed in spirits, or just maybe there are circumstances in life that don't draw forth optimism or cheer, to remember that even in those moments, we have the ability to find joy in those moments. Not by having spiritual bypass, but just by making the decision to use our mind as a contemplative being in a way to propagate a different outcome. Now, notice I didn't say better, I said different. Why is it important to remember that? Because at all times, there is the thought process cycle unfolding through each of us individually and us collectively. What do I mean by the thought process cycle? If you look at the screen, it shows that there's a thought, which then moves to the belief component of life, which is then responded to by the creative law, which then moves through us and provides an effect or an experience or a circumstance or a condition in life, a manifestation, a demonstration, if you will. And then because we're contemplative beings, we have a reaction or a response to that effect and that experience, which then moves us back into the process cycle, because that is then a thought, that reaction or effect, which is then moved through mind into subjective mind, where the beliefs are held, where then the law of life responds, ultimately providing an effect or an experience, and then we respond to react to that, which indeed is a thought, which moves and goes on and on and on. Why is this important? Because this is always unfolding through us. And the more conscious we become aware of this cycle, which is what I've been going through of late in the last few days, then the more apt we are to tune into thoughts and beliefs that reflect our divinity, or if at least that's our desire, of tapping into the realm of possibility, thus providing or contributing to the best of our ability, effects or experiences that are equal to our desires, conscious desires, and our reaction to those will be this equal to that as well. A lot to take in. In its fundamental, foundational truth, and yet at the same time quite complex. What does all that mean? Well, here is something I think to look at as a perspective for us. Sometimes we want something and we want it now. Can you relate to that? I had an experience yesterday that I wanted it now. Didn't know what to do with that. We do our affirmations, spiritual mind treatment, set our intention, and we get so excited because we know with faith our manifestation is on the way. Now think back to that thought process cycle and doing that in the context of affirming and praying and treating and all of that. And we know what's happening. Our manifestation is on the way. And possibly a week or so goes by, and it could also be a day, and still no result. Possibly we become frustrated and even ornery and wish it would happen already. However, before we start cursing at the universe for not bringing us what we desire, stop and get clear about the desire and why it's not happening on your timeline. Now think that through. Have you ever had that experience? Well, here's an example of how to look at it. When an egg is in incubation, a little chick has to be allowed to form, for it does not happen overnight. If one tries to force the chick to hatch prior to being ready, it will be damaged. What is forming inside will not be allowed to follow its natural manifestation process. Now just give yourself the gift of the blessing of your contemplative nature to ask yourself, should there be a desire that's not showing up when you think it should in life? If what's going on in regards to that desire becoming made manifest is equal to the little chick inside the shell needing to go through its own maturation process so that it can be made manifest in form in the natural rhythm of life. That too is what's always unfolding through you and I in regards to our dreams, our desires, our thoughts, our beliefs becoming made manifest, as well as to our response and our reaction to that. Let's look at the thought, belief, law, effect, experience, reaction, thought, belief, law, effect, experience, reaction to that now through the lens of imagining the chick in the shell. That this process still happens, but oftentimes what is required of us in that moment of the effect experience of looking at it and our reaction to it is realizing that should our reaction be different, we might just be breaking the shell prematurely. To open ourselves up to tune in to realizing that at all times, what we're dealing with here is the fertile soil of subjective mind, and it is responding to our state of mind. In other words, it responds to our totality of mind in the moment, how we're thinking, and to the collective nature of the totality of all the thoughts we've ever thought in life and beliefs, as well as the totality of any and all thoughts that have ever been thought in life. Now, we have a moment right now to tune into the thought process cycle and either allow that concept or spiritual truth to be empowering and freeing for us, meaning that we understand and accept it in this moment. Well, if that's true, then whatever we need to fulfill our desires in the natural process of the breaking through of the eggshell so that there is a birth that provides for the chick so that it can go and get the worm in its mouth, and that is empowering and comforting, or we let that freak us out. The law responds either way. And through the freaking out, then we crack the shell. And the natural process of the life expressing itself will look differently than the desire of it cracking through and squawking to open for the worm to be provided to it by the mother. A broad spectrum I paint for you, and yet one that I know that we all can tune into. Where does that come from? It comes from spiritual wisdom, from walking the journey of life itself. And what's important for each of us to remember is we have that spiritual wisdom within us. It's one of the qualities that we address as the desire of the divine that you and I individualize. Peace, power, beauty, joy, light, life, love, and wisdom. Why is it important for me to remind each of us that that's true? Reminding myself, remember, it's because even if we forget it's there, and even if we don't know that we have walked the walk that is necessary to be one with it in an awakened state, that it's still always there. We're not having to manufacture or manifest wisdom. Our role is to tune into it so that we may reveal it. Because as we're taught here, the mechanical laws of nature, Holmes tells us, are set and immutable. But the spontaneous recognition of these laws give us the power to bring them into practical use in everyday life and experience. Amy said a moment ago that what she loves about this teaching is it's really about the practice. This is one of the practices that we're called to tune into and to participate in to the best of our ability as often and as frequently as possible. The wisdom of this is to remember that the law of nature is set and immutable. It's always happening. We have no influence over that whatsoever. But our spontaneous recognition of them, we do have power over. That's the contemplative nature of life. We can remember that the law of nature is always set and immutable and always working and doing its part and is responding to us by providing us corresponding experiences in life. And as we remember that, without celebration or without damnation of having forgotten it a moment ago, that then provides to us power, that's the personal self-empowerment part, to bring them into practical use, the remembrance of them in our everyday life and experience. Let's all just take a deep breath in and exhale and remember that this spiritual truth exists. And ask yourself, how do you feel? I'm going to affirm for all of us, we feel more strengthened than we did before. And to remember to begin right here and right now on the next step of finding personal self-empowerment through our spiritual awakening. We're taught that since we all must begin, and Holmes wrote this as well, since we all must begin right where we are, most of us will be compelled to begin our healing work with a mechanical process. In other words, that process of remembering, thinking, breathing, tuning into, setting the desire, opening up to that effect experience. In other words, the moment by moment is how do I feel right now and how do I respond to? That's the mechanical process. Very good to be tuned into that as well. We're also called to expand that and use it in this way. We should take the highest thought we have, I am peace, I am power, I am light, I am love, I am holy light. And attempt to enlarge on this consciousness until it embraces a more vital concept of reality, meaning, is this true? It is. Can I see it right now? Yes. Can I feel it right now? Yes. Is it present in, as, and through me right now? Yes. That's the more vital concept. Well, then what do? We remember then that consciousness in this sense means an inner embodiment of the ideas. Feeling that, knowing that, affirming that, allowing that. Goes on to tell us then that if one wishes to demonstrate prosperity or peace or goodwill or kindness or an expression of the wisdom, they must first have a consciousness. We must know then that we're prosperous or peaceful or having goodwill or kindness or wisdom is present. It's this consciousness that is he speaks of here that is more than faith. He doesn't say it's exclusive of faith. He says it's more than faith. He's not saying don't include faith. He's saying it's more than that. It's the knowledge, the wisdom, that we're dealing with an immutable law, one that responds to us by corresponding. It must provide an effect and experience then. He goes on to then tell us that while a certain consciousness may be mechanically induced, of course, the more spontaneity put into the mechanical word, the more power the word must have. In other words, not using a Hail Mary mantra, although the Hail Mary mantra may get you awakened to the point of the spontaneity, but the spontaneity is trusting that there is that within you that will provide you the words, the feelings, the language, as Amy did in the song a while ago, moved into using the lyrics from I am peace, I am love, I am light, from Calling in the Light within her chant, O Holy Light. It's being open to that it all merges and provides a new awakening. In other words, the capacity to do that expansive way of living, that spontaneity, right? Which then provides through the individual a state of mind and awareness for things to be different. Healing, as Holmes says that. Healing is revealing of the wholeness or the oneness that is there. It's the revealing of an idea. It's the tuning into having the experience of that which we just affirmed was possible and engaged in the spontaneous practice of that of I am, O holy light. I am peace. I am light. I am, O holy light. O holy light, reveal thyself through me. I am wisdom. I am indeed calling in the light. Thus the light shines. It's about knowing that the idea that we're affirming is one that is already fueled not only with the fertile soil of subjective mind, but one in its innate nature that is already perfect. Let's just take all that in for a moment. That this demand, this command, this affirmation of healing is not creating something new. It's revealing that which is already there. So I love this concept that healing is not creating a perfect idea, a perfect body. It's revealing an idea that is already perfect. It's not a process, it's a revelation. And let's look at the energy that is moving around the being on the screen, that is creating the shift going from the darkness to light. That is that act of one being revolutionary and revelatory, I believe is the word. Where in your life are you open to that happening in a new way, starting today? And to remember that the life of this idea will always find a way. I've used this slide so many times since we went virtual, and I love it so much because it shows that as that massive tree had been cut down at some point, looking at it in its natural state, meaning natural, what's left of it after having been chopped down, one would look at it and so often think that that's dead. And yet the seedling of the chick, if you will, of the new sprout, of the seed of intelligence and wisdom that is within the tree, found a way to express itself in new form. But the intelligence and the wisdom and the life And the source of that life isn't new. It's the same that's always been there. It's just expressing itself in a new way. Where is that true for you in your life? Is it love that's looking to be expressed in a new way? Is it light? Is it peace? Is it power? Is it beauty? Is it joy? Is it the wisdom of the divine? I affirm for all of us and invite in that it's all of that and more. And to know that on the journey of finding personal self-empowerment through a spiritual awakening, there are going to be moments where obstacles show up. I just had one yesterday, and I went to the pool yesterday to lay in the sun and to feel the sunlight and to read this book. And I get there, and I had booked a chair, and I got there, and my typical chair that I like so much, staying in the rhythm of what we know, the comfort of what we know, right? I know, was filled. I ended up in a chair adjacent to two that had also been taken, and the two sun beds behind us and the day beds behind us. And I could tell that what was taking place around me was a hen party that was being set up. And I'm sure you guys all know what that is. It's a hen party. And I didn't want the hens to not have fun, but I also didn't want to be immersed in the midst of the hens having fun, because I knew it would be a lot of loud, boisterous activity. But I just kept trusting, and I was choosing not to be dark, to not choose darkness, to not choose frustration. And I was invited into some of the individuals in the hen party to participate in what was to unfold. And I wasn't rude, but I wasn't kind either. I was like, no, thank you. I want my own little personal cocoon today. And as the day kept unfolding, it appeared as if what I desired was not going to unfold with grace and with ease. But I had to keep choosing in each moment to go, I trust this process. I trust this process. Bring the light to my own personal darkness in the moment. And as the hen party was about to build, my chair and the two next to it, meaning the one I'm used to, opened up. And I moved over there with love and with kindness. And it was the perfect time for the perfect place where the sun was at the perfect moment. I was able to move into the cocoon that I desire and love in a place that was comforting, while at the same time arriving with a new state of mind. One of being appreciative, not celebratory, but appreciative that I had chosen to stay in the light, to trust the process, to not let the obstacle that was in my path in the moment be anything other than a blessing. And then that allowed for me to be on the outside of the hen party as it got bigger and louder and more boisterous and more fun for them, and then bigger and louder and more boisterous. And I had a different perspective to view the hen party, to witness the hen party, and to have my own moment and to celebrate that the hen party was able to unfold. What a metaphor as a physical, literal example in my life. But those situations where we find ourselves in the hen party, wanting to bring the darkness and not the light, which would have then caused the chick that needed the hens to sit on it so that it may be able to be cracked open and birthed, to not happen. But there's wisdom and intelligence inside where the chick is, as there is within you and there is within me. Today, we all have these obstacles in our life. You may be able to identify it, and you may not. But let's affirm this together, as Jane Lee Hogan teaches us, that sometimes what looks like an obstacle in your path is actually a gift meant to move you in a different direction. I'm going to affirm for each of us that different direction isn't necessarily physical direction, although that may be the case, but it is in a new mental direction. Darkness in that scenario is the fertile soil of the soul. In other words, it's tapping into that darkness within us where wisdom exists, where light is being called forth, where joy and beauty and peace and power and light and life and love all exist. Are we willing in those moments to call forth love as we began this service today? It can be the love of the emotional component as a human, self-love, love for others, love for the hens, love for the chicks. But if we're all choosing to seek personal self-empowerment on this journey of finding personal self-empowerment through a spiritual awakening, that spiritual awakening part is part of the journey. And that spiritual awakening part is opening ourselves up to the love, to the light, which is accessed through our soul, through the fertile soil, and sometimes even that which appears to be darkness. It's bringing forth the light. Metaphysical meaning of darkness is this: the ignorance of the human, the absence of truth or light in consciousness. It is a representation of an undeveloped capacity that is caused by a lack of love. And in this case of lack of love, isn't love not being there? It is the lack of our awareness of the love. And so let's you and all remember that darkness is not a bad thing in life. If we allow it to be prevalent, yes. But just its moment by moment presence is not a bad thing. It's an opportunity for us to tap into the field of possibility, as well as the opportunity to bring forth and shine the light. Light, living in God's healing truth. And what that truth may be right now is a remembrance of the presence of God and a new relationship to the Word and the power in regards to the words. Darkness in this moment is part of the natural cycle of darkness and of light. Remember that when we tap into the totality of mind itself, Holmes tells us is to remember this. There's one infinite mind from which all things come, the darkness and the light. The mind is through, in, around the human. It's the only mind there is, and every time the human thinks, they use it. There's one infinite substance, and every time the human moves, they move it. That is the energy that we're tapping into when we're bringing forth the light. That is the energy that we're tapping into when we choose love. That is the energy that we're tapping into when we choose faith. That is the energy inside the chick, inside the egg, and inside the shell, and inside the tree, and inside you, and inside me. Today, let's you and I remember that as far as we can discern, the sole purpose of the human existence is to kindle the light in the darkness of the mere being. Today we get to ask ourselves, are we willing to emit healing vibes from this moment forward, moment by moment by moment, to the best of our ability, and to ask ourselves, where do we grow from here? Well, where do you want to grow from here? You get to grow wherever you choose that you're willing to be open to emit the healing vibes and then grow. And so right now at 11:22 a.m. Pacific time on this date, the 24th of August in the calendar year of the Gregorian calendar in the year 2025, let's let the healing begin now. Let's look at the screen and choose to decide that we open up to our inner vision in regards to our goals and our future and our growth and our creativity and our inner vision, and that our inner vision, it's that inside of us that's guiding us. It's when our inner vision opens, our horizons expand, Louise Hay, means that let's remember that there is a light within ready to guide us. There are eyes behind the eyes, ears behind the ears, and love exists in the heartbeat behind the heart, ready for us to explode into a new expression of the revealing of the wholeness and healing. Peter Wise tells us, heal yourself and change the world through the incredible power of your mind and thoughts. Raise your conscious awareness of light, remembering the thought process: thought, beliefs, law, effect, experience, reaction, response, which is the thought, moving to the law, to the effect, the experience, reaction to it, which is a thought, the law. And let's all choose to let the healing of the revealing begin right now. And let's all take a deep breath. And as we exhale, Amy's going to come back on and take us through a song to anchor this awareness into us in a new way, being ever so grateful to hear all these words, to tune into the wisdom, and to feel the intention behind it. And so it is.
And so it is. That was so juicy. Let the healing, let the revealing begin. Let the healing begin. Let the revealing of who you are begin. There's a power in a seed, reminding itself how to become a tree. There's a power in a cell, and it's capable of making a you or a me. There's a power in a word, vibrating at a frequency, and there's a power inside that power inside that power is love, 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 love. Back to the love. Love, 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 love. And you can feel it revealed when an open, broken heart begins to be healed. It breaks like the sky when a long, dark night starts spinning on the wheel of the world. Watch it rise. Out of the ashes comes another day of bright light shining through your eyes. So much surprise every time we fall in love. Love, 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 love. Love, love, love. I love, 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 love. And there's a force in the fist, but when unclenched it ceases to exist. It shifts into light. So much freedom releases from the wrist, so insist on bliss, insist on bliss, insist on love, 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 da da da, la da da. Oh, let the revealing begin, the healing, the remembering of who you are. Love and peace and joy and harmony. There's a power in a seed, reminding itself how to become a tree. There's a power in a cell, capable of making a you or a me. There's a power in a word, love, vibrating at a frequency. And there's a power inside that power, and back of all that power is love.
I love how it's all tied together, right?
All
So
tied
good,
together.
so good, so good.
So
So thank you
good.
so much for being here today. I know
Oh
you've
my
got
gosh.
another gig this afternoon, right? Somebody in the
Well, it's
Midwest?
actually not for a while, so I get a whole day of just new thought goodness. It's not
Oh,
till 4 p.m.
good.
your time, so
Oh, yeah. So you have a few hours.
yeah. I'm
Fabulous,
gonna stay
fabulous.
till the end, maybe do another closing song
Yeah,
at the
one more
very
song.
end.
Yeah, we'll have you do
Yeah.
Let There Be
Okay.
Peace or whatever feels right to you. Yeah,
Yeah.
whatever feels
Okay.
right. Good. All right, cool. Thank you all for being here today. May you continue to have a day filled with love and light and peace and joy and self fulfillment and self awareness and a tuning into your contemplation. And be on the lookout for hen parties in your life and where you're ready to tune into the chick being born in a new way. I want a reminder to all of you that next Sunday we're going to be dark, meaning we're not doing service. There will not be any reminders online. Just we're giving everyone freedom to be laborious on the Labor Day weekend, and we're taking a day off. So enjoy that. We are having a meditation this week, so feel free to join us for that, our midweek morning meditation, as well as if you'd like to access any of our previous services during next week or anytime, you can use our website, csl-la.org, as well as our app in the App Store, Center for Spiritual Living, and we're on all social media sites. And so I invite you to go to any of those and support us financially. As you can see on our website, there's a donate now button, and on our app there's a little giving hand sign, all of which gives you access to the electronic ways to support our community financially, as well as if you go to our website, you'll have our address of 1200 North La Brea Avenue, West Hollywood, California, 90038, if you'd like to mail in a check. Know that it's all appreciated and celebrated and put to good use. We not only do the business of our community here, here, but we're also a tithing community, and we give back to those in need. And so thank you for that in advance. Thank you to Robert. Thank you to Travis. And a thank you to Amy. And thank you to each one of you. Be on the lookout for our e-newsletter this week that goes out on Monday, and our new thought text for the day each morning at 7:30 a.m., as well as we're back in person the second Sunday of September, which I believe is the 14th. But we'll be back online 2 weeks from today. Amy, you want to take us out with a song? If you're on Zoom, you can stay on and say hello. Turn your cameras on in a moment. If you're on YouTube, we'll say goodbye to you after Amy sings the last song. And we celebrate each and every one of you knowing all is well.
We're going to let the love wash over us. We let the love wash over us. We let it be. We let the joy wash over us. We let the joy wash over us. We let it be. How about the peace? Join me singing. We let the peace. We let the peace wash over us. We let it be. We let it be. All right, let's end with the love since we started with it. We let the love. We let the love, come on, wash over us. We let it be. Have an amazing week, everyone. I love you.